Hi everyone. Thanks Mark for getting the ball rolling in our online forum. Um, so I just wanted to, we've had enough time for anybody who wanted to contribute, and so far it's only been Mark and Dave. Thank you to you guys. Appreciate it very much. And I'd like to say more about that at the end, but I want to try to respond to Mark's excellent questions. He said, "Why do you train?" And that's a really big question. I'm just going to say I train to celebrate being alive. I'd rather be alive than not be alive, and those are on and off switches, right? But in a way, there's kind of a continuum there. Like, am I getting more and more dead and less interested in my life and less curious and less energized, or am I becoming more interested and more alive? I'm interested in moving in that direction. It's just more fun and more pleasurable, and it could be anything. And I'm a musician. I get a lot of life from exploring music as a sort of a bottomless well of novelty and of interest, and of taking the music that I've worked with literally my entire life, at least since I was a teenager. And I'm still looking at a lot of that same music, and it's wonderful because I know it so well, right? And so I feel that way about Wei Chu, that I've invested so much time in it that it just keeps deepening out for me, and there's just more and more payback, and it's more and more interesting, and it just keeps giving back, and like I said, I don't think it's the only thing that someone could do, but it's as good as as many things, and unlike a lot of things which seem to me, at least from my perspective, to be somewhat limited, because I've heard people say, well, for me, I just go for a walk in the woods and that's my practice, and it seems like, yeah, I mean, there's a lot to see in a walk in the woods. I like to take a walk in the woods, but when you unpack something that's actually literally been designed for a lifetime of unpacking, it's pretty wonderful. So I practice to celebrate and cultivate being alive. That's my answer to that. Mark's second question was about relaxation, and Mark and Dave both are responding to what I said on the last advanced class, which, by the way, is on the website. You can click on the class playlist, and you can see all the advanced classes, at least the ones I remember to hit record on, which is most of them. And the point I was making, it seems to have been misinterpreted by both Mark and Dave, which strongly suggests that I didn't express myself very well. So what I'm saying is, the word relaxation we understand it. It's not like it's a mysterious word, and I'm trying to kind of to use it to substitute for a word that we don't have. And Dave suggested that it was chi, and I think, yeah, that's true. So maybe what I'm trying to do is find a more practical and less esoteric and hard to grasp concept that we can all really work with, Maybe a word like release would be better. The problem with relax is it tends to suggest only one direction, and that's fine. But I'm saying that you can use that same idea of releasing and removing internal resistance. Like, what's keeping me from being heavier, more grounded? Well, then I'm kind of pulling up a little bit, even unconsciously. Now, if I release those things, you could call that relaxing, and I can start to just release into my feet and into the ground and feel heavier and heavier. But I can also use that to, let me keep going. I can keep going this direction. I can also use that same idea of releasing. What's keeping me from feeling more compressed? Well, again, I can release whatever is resisting that, and I can get to a very compressed place, including something like making a fist. Like, I'm going to squeeze the fist and make it tight. It's like trying to push myself into the ground. The act of pushing myself into the ground, that effort, actually is actually dislodging me. I'm actually less grounded in this moment than when I release into the ground. And so it's the lack of effort, and it's like, in a way, it feels like using even less effort and releasing whatever resistance there is. And it also works the other way. I can use that same sense that I'm calling relaxation in kind of a specialized definition. I can use that if I want to be light, if I want to expand. So I can relax, 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 relax. Like, it's all relaxation. and even the squeezing of the hands. It's not into a rigidity, which is actually kind of brittle. It's a grasping, which feels strong, but I can feel that I can relax into it. I can relax into a fist, as I said. I can just feel it. It keeps on compressing. Feels great. I don't feel like I'm working hard at all. I'm releasing into it. So I'm using the word relax for that, but I'm not using the meaning that we normally use for it. And the biggest part of the normal meaning of relax that I reject in this concept, even when we're talking about down, when I'm sinking down and getting more and more grounded and feeling heavier and heavier, I'm feeling that I'm cultivating something I call relaxation, but it's not collapsing. It's not that. It just isn't. And so that's a part of it. That's why it's not a great word. And there's plenty of people in this world who don't like that word relax. I know people even in the world of music, where again tension is evil and counterproductive. They don't like the word relax because it means collapse, and that isn't it either. So so both Mark and Dave thought I was only saying that relaxation was for lightness. And I don't think I even literally said that, but obviously, so they both thought that, then clearly I didn't express myself well. So hopefully that's a better explanation of what I'm talking about. And then Mark's third question was about Jumbiendo, and what do each of us individually, what do we feel, what's it about? And for me, working with Jumbiendo is the same as working with all the other elements of Wei Chi practice and all the other practices that I work with, such as yoga and Qigong. And so what's that? Well, primarily the elements seem to me to be the feet, breathing, which very much includes the danchen and all the stuff that goes on in the pelvis, all that great stuff, and the eyes. Those to me are the three main elements that I bring to Jumbiendo or any other practice that I'm doing. I'm always working with stillness and movement, relationship with the ground. I'm always working with kind of my own demons, and killing some of them and making friends with some of the others. I'm engaging my intellect to the fullest. I'm really investigating, but I'm also at the same time giving my body an equal say. Because there's sort of an element where I can analyze how a kick goes, and if you're talking about Jumbiendo, I can analyze how this could be, but my body kind of knows how to do this already. And if I pay attention, if I let my body do it, my intellect can then do the analysis of what my body is doing. I can't just intellectually put it together. I have to allow my body to do it. But if I just allow my body to do it, I'm not really paying attention, then I don't have anything that I can carry on to tomorrow or talk to you about. And in general, I'm just paying attention to what Jumbiendo, at this particular time. If I'm going to start doing Jumbiendo right now, I'm just looking to see what it's teaching me. It has something to teach me if I'm willing to pay attention and to let some of my preconceptions go in this moment. And inevitably, I learn something every time I do any of these practices. So that's my response. And I just wanted to say in general, with this first response to this idea of an online forum, it's been a little weak. Only two of my top students, the last guys who actually need this kind of a forum. This is meant to replace or to make up for in some way not having regular all ranks classes. And so the people that were encouraging me say, look, come on, we need these classes. Well, my response to you is if you don't have a question, then there's no reason for a class. Because a class isn't a workout. You work out on your own. And when we can finally get back together again, post-COVID, hopefully, the point of those classes will not be for you to do your Sanchin. The point of those classes will be to do partners work and also to have the kinds of discussions that we can have on this forum right now. That's what classes are for. And it was a mistake in the past that the whole COVID situation has made more clear to us, to think that classes were your chance to do a workout. That's not what classes are. It's not a sports team, right? So yeah, I mean, Jen and I have been here and done that. For the last 30 plus years, we've shown up to so many community halls and cleaned up dirty floors from, the wedding reception the night before, and put away tables and chairs and swept and set up, the lineage pictures and put on our gis, and then 1 or 2 people show up. And it's the same thing is happening with our all ranks classes. And at some point, we have to respect ourselves. That if nobody else thinks that we have anything to offer as teachers, well, that's okay with us, right? I don't need to teach. I like it. I like working with people this way. But we're not going to put on a weekly class for 1 or 2 people if there's no interest, right? If there isn't a question. Right, so this is open. The forum is open, and if there's 3, 4, 5 questions coming in every week, at that point probably we're going to say, well, look, we need to have a class. But at this point, when there's like 1 question coming from 1 person and 1 response, that means that we don't need to have a class. So let me know if you want to pursue this. If you think I'm wrong and you think we need a class for some other reason that I'm understanding, let me know. The forum is open. This closes our first iteration of this forum. Although if you have a response to my response or today's response, it's never too late. You can reopen this forum and we can have more discussion. And if this continues, if there is some interest in this and questions arise, there's probably different formats. Somebody suggested that Discord would actually be a better format, which I'm not familiar with terribly, but there's ways that we could quickly exchange in real time videos and text comments and links and whatever else we might want to exchange and have this kind of ongoing exchange. And again, if there's enough activity there to generate it, to justify it, we can say, well, look, it looks like we need to have a class because there's a whole bunch of questions around Jumbiendo, say. There's been a lot of discussion with Jumbiendo. Let's have a class and bring some clarity to that, or at least bring that conversation into real time. So that's how I see it. Let me know how that works out for you, and I hope you're enjoying your practice, and I look forward to your videos. Thanks, everyone.